Have you ever ordered food and been disappointed because it wasn't exactly what you expected? Well, trust me, it could have been worse. If you like to eat out at restaurants or fast food joints, you may have experienced a situation or two where what you ordered wasn't exactly what was delivered. Oh man, that sucks, huh? But at least you didn't almost eat bullets, a razor blade, or a mouse. Today I've gathered the absolute craziest cases of people who have reported finding little bonuses in their order, and if you forgot the value of a home-cooked meal, you'll remember after this. So let's get right into it. Here are 10 disgusting things found in fast food. Number 1 is a tongue-eating parasite in tuna. Oh, look at that cute little guy. It looks like a baby Pokemon. It's a flesh-eating parasite? Oh. In mid-January of 2015, 28-year-old Zoe Louise Butler of Nottingham, England, purchased a can of Princess brand tuna chunks at her local grocery store. Upon prying open the lid, she noticed a pair of little black eyes looking back at her. Snapping a photo of it, she shared it on Twitter, asking for opinions as to what the tiny little creature might be. After much speculation over Eric, which was the name she gave the translucent little creature, and using the hashtag Tunagate, the Natural History Museum suggested that it's probably the head of a Cymotha exigua, also known as a tongue-eating louse. In case you didn't know, the tongue-eating louse is a parasite that lives and feeds on the tongues of certain fish by entering through their gills. After a long Twitter war of speculation ranging from a tadpole to a turtle, Eric's species was identified through a series of lab tests on February 6, 2015. Unbelievably, Butler did not seek any compensation from the tuna company for the incident, but I'm guessing she's probably going to avoid tuna for a while. Number 2 is finger in a sandwich. Okay class, rule number 1 for working at a fast food joint: if you cut off your finger, just walk out and don't tell anybody. Nothing's gonna happen. In May of 2012, Ryan Hart, a 14-year-old boy from Jackson, Michigan, bit into an Arby's Junior Roast Beef sandwich when he encountered something that was a little tough to chew on. What is this, parsley? Oh god! Claiming that it tasted disgusting and seemed rubbery in texture, the teen spit it out to discover that he had bit on someone else's chopped off finger and it was in his mouth. An investigation into the incident led health officials to conclude that a worker had actually severed her finger while operating a meat slicer and, for some reason, left the area without telling anybody about it. Soon after, another worker, realizing that the order still had to be completed, went to her station and continued preparing the meal. The injured worker was treated in hospital and the Arby's closed for cleaning, before any other unmentioned body parts just pop up. Is it roast beef or an eyeball? Nobody knows. Number 3 is a condom in clam chowder. When you're eating clam chowder, it's best to use protection. During the night of February 26, 2002 in Irvine, California, 48-year-old Layla Sultan was dining with 3 of her friends at a McCormick and Schmick's seafood restaurant. She was enjoying a nice bowl of clam chowder that she had ordered until she bit into something rubbery. She complained to her friends, but they just teased her, saying, "Oh, it's probably just clam." But unable to chew it, she decided to spit it out, only to discover that she was actually trying to consume an unpackaged and seemingly used condom. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a minute to marinate on that one. The seafood restaurant chain initially claimed that this was an obvious hoax, but soon after, she sued them for psychological damages and actually won an undisclosed amount in the settlement. Sadly, the man who obviously loved his soup a little bit too much was never found. I can see the headline now: "Soup molester on the loose." Number 4 is a mouse in a loaf of bread. Nothing like a dead mouse and bread, oh boy! In January of 2009, while making a lunch of cheese sandwiches for his twin sons and daughter, 41-year-old Stephen Force of Kidlington, England, noticed something strange on the side of the bread that he was using. What is that, mold? Kids, lunch is canceled. The loaf of bread that Force had purchased through an online grocer included an entire dead mouse that was embedded in it. Disgusted over the fact that he had already used slices from that particular loaf earlier to feed his kids, Force notified the government of his gross find and environmental health officers collected the samples from his home. But if you thought that was disturbing, the tail of the rodent was missing and made Force even more grossed out because he realized that his family had already previously consumed it. After an investigation, it was determined that the lone mouse had made its way into the baking facilities and got compacted into the side of the bread crust. After admitting negligence and following proper food safety regulations, Premier Foods was forced to pay an equivalent of $21,000 US. That's not even a lot of money, $21,000? The guy and his family ate a rat tail. That man is never going to again be able to go close to Disneyland. A piece of me's in your belly. Number 5 are razor blades in burgers. In 2007, Cracker Barrel mysteriously pulled all hamburgers from hundreds of restaurants very suddenly. Patrons were confused when they showed up unable to order a burger, which was a popular menu item. Well, as it turns out, a woman in South Carolina reported ordering a burger as she had always done, except this time it had a razor blade embedded in it. Yeah, this burger tastes like a lot of blood. After biting into the burger, she actually cut the inside of her mouth with a piece of metal that was embedded in the patty. 313 restaurants out of a total of 557 were all told to remove the burgers from their restaurants for fears that there may be more situations like this. Strangely, the burgers are delivered to them pre-made and frozen from their biggest supplier, Cargill Meats, who investigated the issue. That's not even the disturbing part. What disturbs me is that they only shut down 313 restaurants out of 557. They're like, okay guys, we're gonna roll the dice on this one. These ones probably don't have razor blades, these ones do. Okay, let's sell some burgers. Number 6 is Bandage in a pizza. After ordering a large Pizza Hut Supreme Pizza on June 8, 2011, 52-year-old Clifton Park, New Jersey resident Ken Wazurska ate a portion of it and then put the rest in the fridge as leftovers. So the next day, he decided, I want some tasty pizza. So he took it out, took a bite of one of the cold pizzas, only to discover something, I don't know, a little too chewy in the dough. Turning over that piece, he found a blue adhesive bandage. Not only that, but the bandage came complete with someone else's dried blood in the cotton and had actually been baked into the bottom of the crust of the pizza. But in possibly the strangest twist, once being a distribution manager himself, he actually felt sympathetic for the company, so he tried keeping quiet, complaining directly to Pizza Hut, but that didn't work. After being completely ignored by the company, he preserved the evidence in a sealed bag in the freezer and continued to complain. But after an entire month of being ignored, he decided to finally go public with his experience. This time, Pizza Hut took notice, but instead of reaching out to him, they publicly refuted his claims.
Our employees only use red bandages. This man is a fraud.
Number 7 are nails in mac and cheese. Bet you didn't know that a simple bowl of mac and cheese could quickly become a yummy nightmare. On August 24th, 2008, while halfway through eating a Tesco Value macaroni and cheese ready meal, 21-year-old bride-to-be Rebecca Shorten came across a troubling sight. There, among the orange cheesy noodles, were 2 nails. Just a little smidgen upset, she immediately stopped eating the meal, snapped a bunch of photos of her find, and set it aside. However, soon after, she became very ill and had to go to the emergency room to be checked out. I think you can guess where this is going. Doctors quickly discovered that there had been a 3rd nail in the dinner, and yes, she had accidentally eaten it. The doctors actually recommended that it would pass on its own, but that night she went home and experienced even worse pains. She was rushed back to the hospital, where she remained under observation and on morphine until the nail, passed. Oh, but Matt, did she get a big payday? No. For all of her trouble, Tesco only offered Shorten a refund on the meal, which amounted to less than $1. They did, however, recall all similar frozen meals. Man, I guess it takes 4 nails or more to get a payout these days. It's tough times. Number 8 is a tampon in steak. On July 10th, 2009, a man named Axel Sands Claus was fine dining at the Bull and Bear restaurant, which is located inside New York's famous Waldorf Astoria Hotel. A tourist from Germany, Sands Claus was chewing away at the expensive steak and spinach that he ordered when he suddenly found himself unable to break down whatever was in his mouth. Spitting it out, he was horrified to learn that he had been chewing on a used tampon. Oh my, gross! After trying to sterilize his mouth by gargling brandy and running to the bathroom, Sands Claus had restaurant staff call him an ambulance, fearing that he had been exposed to an illness. At the hospital, doctors did confirm that the item was what he thought it was, and he was tested for hepatitis. As if that wasn't enough, he was then instructed to wait 2 weeks and then get an AIDS test. Meanwhile, the Waldorf Astoria launched an investigation into the Bull and Bear restaurant, but found no evidence that the tampon came from their kitchen and called the matter highly suspicious. Highly suspicious? I call it highly disturbing. Oh, I'm gonna yak. Number 9 is a knife in a sub. In June of 2008, 27-year-old John Agassini was just a few bites into his foot-long cold-cut sandwich at a Subway restaurant in New York City when he spotted the melted plastic of a handle and the shine of a blade. One more bite and his teeth would have found an 18-centimeter-long serrated knife that had been carelessly left in the sub. When Subway investigated, they found out that the employee had accidentally dropped the blade into the dough that he soon after baked into foot-long loaves of bread. So many choices. Do I want cheese, garlic, or bloody mouth? The contaminants in his first few bites from the plastic handle caused him to contract food poisoning, and he sued Subway for $1 million. But the two parties eventually settled out of court for $20,000. But unfortunately for the fast food giant, Agassini wasn't the only person to find such a thing in their sub. In December of 2008, Martin Venner of Cornwall, England, was about to dig into his sweet chili chicken footlong sub when he discovered another even longer knife had been baked right into the bread as well. Sadly, he was less fortunate than Agassini and was only offered a replacement sandwich and 50 pounds. 50 pounds, yeah, 50 pounds of bullshit. And number 10 is bullets in a hot dog. On May 6, 2004, a hungry 34-year-old woman named Olivia Chains went to a snack bar in a Costco in Irvine, California. Relaxing from a long ordeal of shopping, she ordered a delicious-looking hot dog, but what she received wasn't as edible as she had expected. In fact, and pardon the pun for this, but what she got really blew her away. Only a few bites in, she bit down into something super hard. Spitting it out, she found a 9mm handgun bullet on her plate. But the trauma did not end there, because soon afterwards she began feeling agonizing abdominal pains. At that point, she was rushed to the hospital where she was given x-rays which revealed that she had actually swallowed a bullet before finding the second one in her hot dog. Eventually, she passed the live ammunition naturally, and Costco performed an investigation into their meats and packaging departments. Yo, I gotta load this gun, but I gotta finish my meat packing shift. I'm gonna do both at the same time. Soon after, the police were involved, but they reported that they had no idea where the bullets even came from. You know, not many people can say that they've had a bullet pass right through them, but in Olivia's case, that's a club that she definitely belongs to. So those were the 10 nastiest things found in fast food. But as always, and I almost regret saying this, I want to know from you guys in the comments, is there anything that you have eaten at a fast food joint, or anything that you know someone else has eaten at a fast food place that has just been absolutely disgusting? I want to hear your horrific story below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications by clicking the bell next to the subscribe button so that you can be notified when I upload my next video. On the right, you'll find 2 of my most recent videos that you can press or click on your screen right now, and don't forget to check out my second vlog channel. The link is in the description. Take care, especially when it comes to what you eat, baby, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!